it's not anything that we've ever thought about doing.
It's a thought, because I imagine that, I mean, just, you know, to drive a car, obviously, there's a long list of things you need to know, and for biking on the same roadways, it's still a pretty long list for kids that age, and,
You know, there might be something that some volunteers could help organize and maybe have a police there to support it or something, but it doesn't have to be the police that.
That might be a good project for like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts.
but if it was like something, you know, sanctioned by the city, where this, you know, you know, you're certified by Atherton.
Partnerships.
Yeah. If there's nothing else on that,
Larry, I'm sorry, you have an
No.
audience member.
oh, sorry.
The Optimist clubs, they do bike rodeos, and it's a service club that is friends of youth, and you might consider contacting the city one. I'm president of the Cupertino Optimist Club, and our Deanza Club also do a bike rodeo every year for the school.
Oh.
So just letting you know.
A resource right here among us. Great, thank you. Then one last thing, Gordon, is the STIP project?
Yes, that's actually, I kind of talked to you about that. That's the project. It's going to resurface Middlefield. It will resurface the sections of Atherton Avenue that have not been done. It's kind of, there are two ends from Alameda down, and then, and I can't give you the exact break points, but you'll see the kind of middle section of Atherton was done a few years ago, so it's in pretty good shape. But it will resurface, not paved, but just a resurfacing with new pavement markings and legends. So it'll do Atherton Avenue, Fair Oaks, and Middlefield.
What does STIP stand for?
Statewide Transportation Improvement Program. So it's money we get from the federal government administered through Caltrans. I also wanted to report, and I'm not sure where it falls, but under, it could have been old business, I'm not sure, but you may remember the committee asked about the issue on Watkins at Station Lane, and so I was able to turn over I went out there, measured it. There were some bushes, about 6 feet of length of bushes that were over our standard. So I turned that over to our code enforcement officer, who went out there, met with the resident, and then issued a letter saying, please take care of this. And then, again, not quite sure where this falls, but I'll bring it up. I did receive a call from a resident of another city who travels through Atherton, requesting that our signs be increased in size because they're less visible. And I said, well, you know, we have our concrete kind of monument signs that are rather kind of a treasured part of Atherton, so I didn't see that was necessarily something that the town would consider, but I did say I'd bring it to the committee, and if you wanted a report on signage and sizes and requirements, I'd be happy to do some research and bring it back, but that's your call.
Any particular signs?
You're referring to the,
The street name sign.
The street name signs, yes.
Yeah, which is an ancient tradition, as near as I can tell.
Right, and I think we're doing a good job cleaning them too.
In fact, per the council allocated additional funding recently, and one of the many tasks that we indicated in terms of numbers of hours of contract services that would be increased were painting those signs. And I can tell you that when the crew has been out, they have been, you know, motorists have actually stopped, you know, pushed the button and put their windows down and said thank you. And the crew almost fell over. You know, it's pretty rare to get a thank you as a streets maintenance worker, but it was much appreciated. And that concludes my report.
I think most of the signs in Lindenwood certainly, and most places in Atherton are the posts, but some places we have regular street name signs, so I don't know what determines where you have one or the other, but like I know at the James Gate, there's one that says James Avenue on regular sign.
They're very few and far between.
And that's against our charter, or?
No, it's just a matter of practice, I think. There are some regulations and there are guidelines in terms of signage, in terms of the size of letters. And, you know, the person is correct, many communities are adopting guidelines to have larger letters because the size of the letters, as well as the color and the background, have an impact on how far away they're visible.
Why don't
The
we,
person said in fact, she said she drove, it was on Middlefield, and she wanted to turn on Marsh, she was unfamiliar with it, and not knowing where Marsh was, she came all the way up to Marsh and was going to turn, and my guess is must have been much closer to the center line, because she then complained that a car passed her on the right. So obviously, she had not moved over into the right-hand turn pocket.
I think there isn't a really big traditional retroreflective sign indicating Marsh visible from both directions in the field.
There are signs, I know after Marsh for the town administration, but I can't recall
I don't think there
where
are.
those advanced street name signs are.
why don't we take this up in a future meeting?
Okay, I'd be happy, let me make a report back to.
Maybe we'll put it on an agenda for next.
Okay,
At
great.
least we're not Pacific Road.
So I do have a question. Ultimately, when the town council gets a fifth member and the roundabout subject comes back up, they will be, I don't know what information they will have had because most of the members that are on the council now were not around at the times when the information was circulated, and so there isn't really much for them to go on other than what they think they already know on the subject. How might that be dealt with?
The staff memo regarding that issue as to whether the council wanted to allocate funding is a matter of record. That was on the previous agenda. So we didn't, until we get authorization from council to go pursue something, we don't generally provide large amounts of information. So what they got is what we would give them again.
Is that the roughly 2 or 3 page document with a photo, an aerial photo with a hand-drawn circle, or is it some?
I don't think we did an aerial photo with a hand-drawn.
Okay, well that was Duncan Jones did that.
Okay, now that was some years ago then.
Okay.
No, this was just a memo saying, it was carrying the referral from the Transportation Committee to council, asking council to appropriate funds to write the RFP to investigate. Because you're right, they don't have the information to make a decision, yes or no. And that failed on a 2-2 vote.
One possibility might be for us to request a presentation be given both to this committee and to the council from some consultant, some authority on roundabouts. Because there's been a lot of sort of misinformation, misunderstanding. And since this has been dragging on so long, as Gary points out, a lot of people have never been exposed to any of this,
Or people are generalizing from what they believe their past exposures are. For example, they experience traffic circles or rotaries in the Boston area, and they think that's a modern roundabout, and it's not, and they give modern roundabouts a bad name. And there's examples like that all over the place. And so I think that would probably be a good idea. And I found one firm that is staffed with mostly ex-Caltrans engineers who'd be happy to do that without charge.
I'll mention that to the city manager, because at this point, as staff, we're not doing anything until there's that fifth council member.
But we
So
could,
because there was no decision to move forward.
we could schedule a presentation for this committee
Sure.
from that group, and then if we think it's council worthy, we could suggest that the council hear it. Would that work?
I believe so. I mean, there's any objection.
Okay.
Great.
Any other items? Someone want to move we adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Not tonight. It's been a long day.